What is up, bros and broettes? I am Inkslasher, and today we're going to be talking about the brand new patch in Call of Duty World War II. Now, this patch mainly affected weapons, but also affected maps just a little bit. There were two map fixes that only affect S&D and Capture the Flag, so I'm not even going to talk about that. I'll leave a link down in the description if you want to check it out. But the main thing that this patch changed was 6 weapons, mainly buffs, but a little bit of nerfs as well. So today, we're going to talk about what those 6 weapons are that have changed, what exactly changed, and what does this mean for the weapons in general. Also, we're going to talk about how it changes the meta and which of these weapons you should and shouldn't use. So before we get into those weapons, I'd just like to say sorry I couldn't get this video out earlier today. I was out working as a paramedic. I didn't have time to make it earlier in the day, but I did get it out to you guys today. So if you enjoy the video and find it informative, it'd be fantastic if you could give me a like rating. I really do appreciate it, and it does help out the channel. So the first weapon that has been changed is the FG42. And no, this time it is not a nerf. I believe up until this point, this weapon has been nerfed 3 times. This one is actually a buff in 2 ways. The first of which is a recoil buff. In other words, there is going to be less recoil, which means it's going to be easier to handle. There's going to be less recoil. It's going to be easier to get your shot on target. The second way is a slight fire rate buff. It's not a huge fire rate buff, but it's not going to be quite as bad and as slow as it was prior to today. What this means is that this weapon is going to be just a little bit better. It's still going to be a 3-bullet kill most of the time, and it's going to be a lot easier to control. In other words, this weapon will be usable. Before this patch, it was pretty much garbage, and there was no point in using it. At this point, you are able to use it. It's a decent weapon. I wouldn't say best in the game, but it is a decent weapon. So the next weapon that got changed, and this one I was actually quite surprised about because I thought it was already a pretty good weapon, and now it's even better, is the grease gun. So it got buffed in 2 ways. The first of which was a recoil adjustment to give the player more control. I believe what they did here, I have not seen the stats yet, but I believe what they did here based off of feel is that they improved the center speed, which means it goes back to the center of the screen a little bit faster, making it feel like the weapon has less recoil. Also, we have an aim down sights transition time buff. In other words, you're going to aim down sights a little bit faster than you previously did. So this weapon is now better in 2 ways. It's easier to control the recoil, and on top of that, you aim down sights faster. Trust me, if you haven't tried this weapon out since the patch, give it a shot. It's really, really good. The next patch is to the KAR98K. Now this one, the aim down sights time got nerfed. So yes, you're going to be able to aim down sights a little bit slower. So a little bit of a nerf to a sniper rifle. However, the Lee Enfield got a bit of a buff. It now has an aim down sights transition buff. In other words, it aims down sights faster. So the KAR98 now aims down sights a little bit slower. The Lee Enfield aims down sights a little bit faster. I don't have exact times yet. I will coming up, and we're going to do a complete weapons breakdown coming up in the next few days, but as of right now, I just thought you guys would want to know what exactly got changed in this patch. So the next change was to the combat shotgun, and if you didn't already know, back in December, there was a patch that made the combat shotgun godly. Basically, it made it a one-shot kill up until about 12 meters, when previously it was mainly a one-shot kill until about 6 meters. Now, this patch changed it by saying slight max damage range nerf, still an overall buff to what it was at the launch of the game, however. So what this means to me is that it's going to be a one-shot kill probably between 8 to 10 meters, whereas before it was 12 meters. I think this was needed. Up until this point, over the past month, I have thought that the combat shotgun has just been destroying me on even large maps, so I'm glad to see that they have addressed this. It'll be interesting to see how this actually changes the way people play with shotguns, and also how it affects the Dragon's Breath round. And finally, the last weapon to get messed with was the sawed-off shotgun, and this weapon got a massive buff. So, first of all, we have a max and mid damage range buff. In other words, you're going to have one-shot kills and probably 2-shot kills at a much longer range. Also, a buff to the number of pellets to kill. In other words, it's going to take less pellets to actually kill someone. So both of these are going to make the damage a lot harder hitting. In other words, you're going to be able to get a lot more one-bullet kills. On top of that, it also got a reload time buff. Another thing which I think this weapon needed. It had a very long reload time to put those 2 bullets back in the weapon. Now it's going to be a little bit faster. And finally, it also got a hip spread nerf. I think this is only fair to get 3 buffs and 1 nerf to the weapon. I think this is going to make this weapon a lot better, a lot more competitive. I still don't think it'll be the best shotgun, but it will definitely be a little bit better than it was before. So the question is, how is this going to change the way the game is played? First of all, I think you're going to see a lot more grease gun. The grease gun is already, in my opinion, before today, a very good gun, and now it's going to be even that much better. So as I mentioned, if you haven't given it a shot yet, I highly recommend. Also, the FG42 is going to be a little bit better. I think you're going to see a little bit more play with that. I don't think it's going to take over the assault rifle category. That being said, it is better than it was before. Also, the combat shotgun, I still think it's going to be good. I still think it's going to be most people's go-to shotgun. And finally, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the SawedOff shotgun. It's definitely not going to be a god shotgun, but it should be much better than it was before. Finally, as far as sniper rifles go, they made the Lee Enfield a little bit better, the KAR98 a little bit worse. That being said, I think a lot of people are definitely going to still be sticking with the KAR98 as it just gets a lot less hit markers. But guys, that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say about this patch. Overall, I think it did some pretty good things for the game in general, but you can let me know what you think down in the comment section below. If you disagree with this patch, feel free to let me know, and if you agree, same thing, let me know down in the comments below. Also, if you enjoyed the video, it'd be fantastic if you could hit that like button, and if you're new to the channel and enjoy, it's always greatly appreciated if you hit that subscribe button. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.
Hold on to me.